All right, let's jump right in. Today we're unpacking a highly exclusive, fascinating management consulting strategy report. It's put together by the AI research firm Disruptivity. They've mapped out this comprehensive, long-term strategic roadmap for SandboxAQ, which is a massive player sitting right at the intersection of AI and quantum tech. We're going to break down exactly how Disruptivity sees the future of SandboxAQ, and more importantly, how they're forecasting the next major evolution of artificial intelligence itself. To wrap our heads around this massive paradigm shift, we're going to walk through this strictly structured consultant-grade explainer in 5 quick phases. We'll hit the quantitative AI shift, look at Disruptivity's roadmap for SandboxAQ, break down that huge Anthropic Claude catalyst, talk about selling optimized outcomes, and finally, what the simulation revolution means for your business. Let's go.
All right, phase 1, the quantitative AI shift. We're moving beyond semantics.
So the Disruptivity report spots this huge market bifurcation that's basically going to drive the next decade of tech. Look, right now, the whole world is absolutely obsessed with semantic AI, right? Large language models. And yeah, they're amazing at communication and recognizing patterns. But the real economic engine of the future, that's quantitative AI. We're talking about large quantitative models grounded in the absolute strict laws of physics, hardcore math, and deterministic equation-based systems. Basically, language models guess the next highly probable word, but quantitative models, they give you strict mathematical truth and physical reality.
Which brings us to the star of the show, large quantitative models, or LQMs. SandboxAQ, an Alphabet spinoff that's sitting on a staggering $5.75 billion valuation, is literally pioneering these things. LQMs are a totally distinct class of AI built for simulation, optimization, and discovery in super high-stakes industries. We're talking drug discovery, financial risk modeling, places where numerical precision is completely non-negotiable. They are solving the kinds of problems that traditional supercomputers just can't touch.
And if you want to know the so what of all this, well, here it is, 70%. By using this physics-grounded AI simulation, instead of the old-school physical trial and error, companies are seeing up to a 70% drop in drug discovery cycles. You're completely shifting from physical wet labs to a virtual-first environment. I mean, that is just a massive return on investment.
Moving right along to Phase 2, Disruptivity's SandboxAQ roadmap and the path to market dominance. So, how does Disruptivity actually advise SandboxAQ to capitalize on this giant technological moat? It's all about a deliberate land and expand playbook. Their ultimate strategic mission shouldn't just be selling little discrete software tools here and there. No, Disruptivity says they need to pivot and become a unified computational utility. The goal is to force a total replatforming of enterprise R&D globally, wipe out the legacy, siloed simulation software, and replace it with instantaneous, physics-verified digital simulation. They want to be the undisputed computational backbone for modern science. Now, the sequencing here is absolutely crucial. Disruptivity breaks it down into 2 phases. Phase 1, over the next couple of years, is all about securing the enterprise beachhead. SandboxAQ uses the massive urgency around post-quantum cryptography to get their AQtive Guard cybersecurity platform installed in major enterprises and government agencies. It builds trust, right? Then, boom, Phase 2. They platformize their core. They take those advanced simulation engines and totally dominate the LQM cloud, basically turning into a simulation-as-a-service decision supercomputer. To pull off this 2-phase master plan, Disruptivity zeroes in on 3 core strategic initiatives. First, SandboxAQ has to transition from doing custom, bespoke services to a highly scalable API-first architecture. They need to turn their proprietary algorithms into a standardized developer utility, what they call LQM as a service. Second, they need to launch a synthetic-first data foundry to churn out high-fidelity training data automatically, which creates this totally unreplicable data moat. And third, they have to build a unified abstraction layer. That way, their tech works flawlessly no matter what kind of quantum or classical hardware is running underneath. All right, Phase 3, the Anthropic Claude catalyst and democratizing quantum science. Look, having a roadmap is great, but you need a killer distribution vehicle. The real rocket fuel in this equation is SandboxAQ's landmark partnership with Anthropic. Disruptivity points out that by embedding SandboxAQ's physics-grounded models right into Anthropic's Claude AI assistant, they are literally transforming a standard chatbot interface into a virtual scientific laboratory. As the report highlights, this shifts discovery into a virtual-first environment, dramatically slashing time to market. The ripple effects of this integration are just wild. Domain experts, chemists, financial analysts, supply chain logisticians can suddenly run insanely complex quantum mechanics and physics simulations just by typing in natural language. You don't need a PhD in quantum physics anymore. Plus, this completely leverages Anthropic's massive $200 billion Google Cloud commitment. That gives SandboxAQ the ridiculous scale they need to make their LQMs the absolute back-end standard for AI-driven discovery.
Which brings us to Phase 4, selling optimized business outcomes.
This technological leap completely rewrites the rules for how you sell software. Just look at this breakdown. In the traditional IT model, you're selling raw compute hours, infrastructure as a service, right? You rent the server or buy software license subscriptions. But the LQM business model? You are selling scientific, optimized outcomes. You rent the solution. Providers are going to start charging based strictly on the value they capture, like taking a percentage of the above-market returns they generate in finance, or a cut of the massive savings in logistics. It shifts everything from asset-heavy, trial-and-error R&D to asset-light, highly scalable computational IP generation.
And why is this happening now? Well, because classical computers are finally hitting what's called the algorithmic complexity wall. They just can't efficiently solve today's massively complex global problems. But by smashing through this wall with quantum-inspired tech, these new quantum decision cores are going to let operations shift from rigid, inflexible schedules to fluid, real-time adaptation. It essentially automates middle management coordination and tactical execution right on the fly.
Finally, Phase 5, simulation for your business and the disruptivity advantage.
Let's zoom out from SandboxAQ for a second. What does this massive structural disruption actually mean for your enterprise? The Disruptivity report points out that we are rapidly entering the era of probabilistic enterprise planning. Forget static annual budgets and slow, human-led spreadsheet models. Businesses are going to use always-on simulation engines. These AI-driven LQMs will ingest huge streams of data and simulate thousands of possible future business scenarios all at once. It means the C-suite can finally make decisions based on highly calculated confidence intervals instead of stale data or just gut instinct.
Which brings us to the absolute most critical question of this whole explainer. How does your business adapt to the large quantitative model revolution? Are you really prepared to compete in an AI landscape where your rivals aren't just summarizing emails with language models, but are literally simulating the future of their supply chains, their products, and their risk models before things even happen?
And this is exactly where Disruptivity's own management consulting as a service comes into play. Since they are the ones researching and architecting these exact long-term roadmaps for heavyweights like SandboxAQ, they have the strategic frameworks to bring these capabilities directly to any business owner. They'll help you navigate that really tricky jump from basic semantic AI to hardcore quantitative AI. They guide the rollout of those always-on simulation engines for your specific operations, helping you build a highly resilient, physics-verified business strategy backed by elite C-suite advisory.
By quantifying uncertainty and fully embracing these simulation-first methods, your business doesn't just, survive market volatility. It actually thrives on it. It becomes truly anti-fragile. Listen, the semantic AI wave, that was just the warm-up act. The quantitative AI revolution is the main event. So the thought I want to leave you with today is this. 5 years from now, will you be the one running the simulation or the one being disrupted by it?